What's going on, everybody? It's Pelfrey, and we're going to do a full update on the Red Sea Reefer. You can see in the back there I got some snails floating around, and right now I'm showing you the A-series mounts. I have the right one mounted with the extension to the stand, and then the left light is still mounted to the tank. But I had a local guy named Spencer. He went to Aquatica in Louisville and was able to pick up some snails for me. I had a pretty vicious algae bloom in the tank. Of course, after a startup you're going to go through an algae bloom, so it's really nothing new. But I needed some cleanup crew, and the snails that I was looking for, I really didn't want to pay a lot of money to get them shipped, so he was going to make a trip there anyway. Had him pick them up for me. I really appreciate it. Lifesaver for sure. You can see here I got an Anthias in the tank. I decided to go ahead and get one of them from the local fish store. Wanted to see how well I could keep this guy. I know that they require quite a bit of feeding, so I did step up my feeding regimen. Ultimately, I think that he was getting picked on by certain other fish inside the tank, and the Anthias did not make it, although I did step my feeding up to accommodate the fish. So it is something that I'll definitely have to plan for and really be prepared for in the future if I decide to keep the fish. It was really pretty fish. So here you can see the rock work is covered in algae. Really nothing new there, but the snails went to work pretty quickly. There was 2 rocks that I brought over from a previous tank that had some hair algae on it, and I don't really attribute that to creating a problem in the new tank. So I got a little creative and had some stickers made for the YouTube channel. Aside from that, I mounted an old iPad to the inside of my tank stand that is running an Apex Fusion app. I'm going to go more in depth about the Apex at some point, but right now it's very handy to have. If I forgot my telephone on the couch or whatever, as soon as I open up the stand, I can manipulate what I need to manipulate from the iPad itself. It's very easy and it's very efficient to have that capability right inside the stand. And the Apex is, I've said this a couple times before, it's definitely not a necessity, but it does make things just a slight tad easier whenever you're keeping a reef tank. Another thing is the Nyos 120 skimmer has been an absolute beast. I have nothing but great things to say about the skimmer. It broke in very quickly, and it is dead silent. And for me, the silence is key, especially because this system is in my living room. So if you're on the fence about a skimmer, definitely look at the Nyos skimmers. Here's a little pro tip for you. Whenever I first set up a skimmer, I like to put a gallon baggie over the collection cup, and what this will do is if for whatever reason you don't have the skimmer adjusted appropriately, the bag will prevent the collection cup from getting water spray and salt spray all over your sump and inside your cabinet. So luckily I measured twice and cut once. The holes there were for my Kessil A-series extensions. I wanted to get them mounted to the stand and off of the tank. So the first set of holes I marked didn't work out. Luckily I didn't drill it. Then I got a power cable running over in the stand, trying to hide it the best that I can, going into the iPad, trying to make things look aesthetically nice. So whenever you open up the cabinet, there's just not a bunch of stuff everywhere. And we're back to the skimmer. This is after about a week. You can see it is kind of a wet skim, which really makes no difference to me as long as the collection cup isn't filling up. So it's definitely doing its job inside of this tank, and I have no doubt in my mind it'll be able to keep up with the load as I progress. You can also see that I picked up a BRS reactor, and it's currently running off of a MJ1200, or at this part of the video it is. Inappropriate Reefer actually just did a video comparing the 2 different MJ1200s that are available, so check out that video. Can you hear that awful noise that this thing down here is making? That is a MJ1200, and that thing is absolutely hideous. So I actually have some parts here. I got the connector for the reactor, I have a splitter, I have some soft tubing, I have some hose clamps, and I have a ball valve. I got a socket here and a flathead. Let me kill the power to the awful MJ1200. Now listen. So the skimmer's running, the return pump Reef Octopus Vario 6 is running, and the Nyos 120 is running, and cannot hear anything. This skimmer is definitely a beast. So the objective here is to cut this soft tubing and put this here and run this reactor off of this manifold. So the goal at some point is to get the manifold set up with hard plumbing, but for now I've got to get rid of this MJ1200. So this guy is going to be used to pull these off. I need the input on the other side and the output on this side, so I'm just going to swap the bracket around and get this thing rolling. So as far as the looks are concerned, this might not look the best. I just really don't like the plastic hose clamps, and I know I probably shouldn't be using these, but none of these are submerged in water. So you can see I didn't want to record the whole thing and you know, push this video out a lot longer than it needed to be. But you can see I got the return cut and split off, going into a ball valve, going down into the reactor, and then the reactor just spits out back into the sump. So from here, all I basically need to do is I have the return pump off and I have the auto top off. I need to turn the return pump on, adjust the ball valve, and I'll be good to go. And The good thing about the Apex, I'll probably do a more in-depth video on it at some point, but the good thing about the Apex is if I shut my return pump off, or if my return pump shuts off for any reason, my skimmer shuts off. And whenever my skimmer shuts off, let me back up. So whenever I shut the return pump off, or the return pump shuts off, the skimmer shuts off. Whenever the return pump comes back on, the skimmer is set up with a 10-minute delay. So that's going to give the sump 10 minutes to equalize as far as the height of the water, so that the collection cup does not overflow. So that's a very, very nice feature among many, many others that the Apex has. All right, so I got everything hooked up. I actually had to bump the speed of the return pump up to 4, and I'm not really getting a lot of flow, and I know it's because of the plumbing, so I'm gonna have to make a drastic change there. The skimmer hasn't turned on yet, so I don't have the auto top off on. I need to remember to turn that on tonight. But I do have flow. The ball valve is open, wide open, and I'm not getting a huge amount of flow through the reactor. As you can see, I did redo the plumbing. I got rid of all the PVC to help with the flow of the reactor. I'm going to ultimately end up redoing the plumbing anyway. I got something else that I want to add to the system. I just have to figure out where I'm going to add it. But the plumbing is a little bit different now. Not as pretty as it once was, but it is functional. And I did mount the reactor to the wall to get it up out of the water, so that I have some more of my sump space back. And you can see the flow coming out of the reactor there. The skimmer is doing a wonderful job still. And I'm probably talking about some of the same things that I've already talked about. I've recorded this video for a couple days now, or over the course of a couple days, so trying to just catch back up. The algae bloom that I'm dealing with, I've scraped it. I bought this from Bulk Reef Supply, and it works so much better than a toothbrush. But I have scraped the rocks, and everything is doing pretty good. I just took the MP40 out and cleaned it. So a couple more projects on this tank, and time to fill it up with some coral. So the good thing about creating two big rock structures is the simple fact that if you have to pull them out, you can. I recently added a butterfly fish to the tank, and it started nipping at corals pretty quickly, so I was able to pull out both rock structures and get the fish out and move it into my sump until I could take it to the local fish store and trade it in. I was able to kind of rescape the tank now, since I am dealing with two large rock structures that are cemented together. My capabilities are a little limited. Previously I had the large structure on the left. Whenever I put the rocks back into the tank, I put it on the right. Then I put the smaller structure on the left, and this ended up working out better for me. I was able to scoot the left structure back and create more real estate in the front of the structure. So all in all, I do like this a lot better. So you know, there is a downfall to making large rock structures. This is what you get, but in the end I like it. You can see the butterfly fish is in the sump. This is an awesome feature to have. You know, I have a sump, so I can put pesky fish down here, put them in timeout down here. I have the water volume down here, and I can get them out of the display, and I don't have to worry about them. They're still going to be in salt water. They're still going to be in warm water. I'm going to be able to feed them, and ultimately they're not going to be nipping at my coral or causing any other chaos inside the tank. So this is a nice additional benefit to having a sump underneath your tank. All in all, that butterfly fish started off as an impulse buy, and I should have known better. I should have just walked away. You know, it was reef compatible with caution, and it's a 50-50 shot regardless of how you look at it. I went ahead and got it. It ended up being a nuisance, so I had to get it out. So I'm going to do much better research moving forward. In a previous video, I asked for suggestions on how to get it to stop nipping at the coral. Problem solved. Get it out of the tank, take it to the local fish store, let somebody else have the fish. It's a beautiful fish. Still looking for, I did move the bird's nest up, and I'm still looking for the ID of another SPS frag that I bought that I don't know why, I can't remember what it is. The gold torch is doing wonderful in the tank still. The Recordias are doing great. Everything's doing good. The Zoas came out pretty quickly after being introduced back into the tank, after getting the butterfly out of the tank, and ultimately the butterfly was really pestering the Zoas the most. And I don't really like Zoas that much, but still I didn't want it to start getting tired of nipping at the Zoas and going after some other ones. So there's the other SPS frag that I have, and it has slipped my mind as to what it is. So if you know, please leave it in the comment section below. And you can see all the rock, rubble, dust, and whatever on the bottom of the glass. That is the struggle of trying to keep a bare bottom tank. We'll address that at some point. As always, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I appreciate you watching, commenting, subscribing, turn on the post notifications. Hopefully I've taught you something. Hopefully you can teach me something and tell me not to do impulse buys. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great one.